Tell you what I'm doing, right? I'm going to give you one more day. We'll stay around Birmingham and you've got to pay. If you don't pay, you're going to suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
And I'm on about bad consequences, yeah? This geezer, mate, was found nailed to the floor. Nailed to the floor, right? Nailed. 4 inch nails through his hands. Didn't do nothing else. Didn't do his legs. Done his hands. And Chris, he paid the money, mate. From the age of 5, I was sexually abused as a child by my uncle, and so the police were called, and he got nicked for it. He got 7 years. But after that, I was in my school, and I was just going crazy, fighting all the time, 24/7, and it just ruined my life. It just ruined my life. This is why I'm in and out of prison, been in and out of prison in my life, and this is why I'm a violent person, because of that.
Mine ain't similar. I weren't interfered with or anything else like that. But I dealt with another problem, Ray. My problem was I come up in an age where no Irish and no dogs were allowed to go into boarding houses.
Okay.
There was racial abuse was everywhere.
Okay.
I didn't want to go to school. I bunked off school all the time. Went shoplifting. My mum and dad didn't know what I was up to. And so I mixed in with the wrong people. I finished up getting approved school, St Vincent's in Dartford, Kent. I did 3 years there. Came out of there, I weren't out all that long. I finished up getting a detention centre. I crashed a roadblock, police roadblock, and had a row with the old
What's
girl.
that? How old was you then, Chris?
I was about 17. Then I got Borstal
Me too.
and Holliday Bay.
I was fighting all the time. I was always getting bashed up in Borstal, mate. Because Borstal, you had to learn, you had to learn your lesson.
Yeah.
Make your beds.
They test you all the time.
Different socks and all the colours and all that. And then they smashed us to pieces in there. But
Yeah.
all the time, Chris, I was getting harder and harder and harder.
Take
You know?
it.
Yeah, mate. And then,
Yeah.
you know, my life just went on. What about you, Chris? What
I'm
happened?
saying, I mean, I knew that violence prevailed. It was something I could use. I had a power that I could stand up for myself, and I weren't frightened.
Good.
And so from there onwards, I got into all kind of fights, and I got myself involved with different. Once you start, they know you can fight. People come, you know, they want you on their firm, they want you with them.
What age was you when you started fighting, Chris? What age?
I was talking about, I was maybe 10,
Okay.
10 years of
Yeah,
age.
10's about the right
And I
age.
remember one time, I came out of school and we'd done this gardening project on a bomb site, and a kid called Andrews came over. He said, "Who do you think you are?" And he threw a right-hander at me. So him and I had a fight, and we must have been throwing right-handers at right, left and centre, and it must have gone on for about 500 yards. And we finished up outside a greengrocer's shop, and he went on the floor, and the greengrocer came out, give me £0.50.
Okay.
And I said, "What's that for?" He said, "That's one of the best fights I've seen." So, you know, that was it from then onwards. I mean, I knew violence paid.
I worked with Jimmy for some time.
Who was Jimmy? Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, Jimmy Tibbet was good fighter in his time. Yeah, he looked after me. He was my trainer. He was a trainer. He was a gangster, proper gangster, mate. I mean, everyone was fighting him around South East London, South London. He could knock anybody out, you know. But he taught me to fight. One day, Eddie asked us to pick some money up for him, and he asked us to pick some money up, and I said, "All right." Me and Jim went down to see his people, and one of the guys was a bit funny about paying over the money. Yeah, this is really the first time it got a bit violent, you know what I mean? So Jimmy went to see the guy, and the guy's umming, you know. I think it was about 60 grand, you know. That's, I mean, a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money, but
ain't a lot.
yeah.
That's what they was playing with. So he said to Jimmy, "Look, I haven't got the money yet, but what I'll do, I will pay you bits and pieces." So Jimmy said, no, listen, this has gone on too long, you've got to pay now. No. So the guy said, "I ain't got it, you ain't going to get it, you have to wait." So Jim said, "Listen, there's consequences of this, yeah? Bad consequences, yeah?"
Well, there always is.
Yeah, so he said, "What do you mean?" He said, "There's bad consequences. If you don't pay this money today, right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go away now for a couple of hours. We'll take my mate with me. We're going to go away a couple of hours. I'm going to come back. And then the consequences, you're going to see what the consequences are." So Jimmy Tibbet used to always carry rose cutters with him. You know the old rose cutters?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Cutting the roses off, you know,
Yeah.
cutting the stems.
Yeah.
He fucking took his hand with the rose cutters, boom, took his top of his little finger off with the rose cutters. He said, that's the first fucking thing. That's the first consequences, mate. He said, if I come back here and you ain't got my money, he said, the next one's going to go down, down and down again. I'm going to do all your fucking hand. He paid him, mate.
Yeah, in the end he will.
No, he did, not the end. He paid him that day.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's stuck in your mind? What was you would say, the worst thing you've done?
Yeah, I used to work for a big company, yeah, big company, yeah. And my job was, I was an enforcer. I used to go down and, I've done quite a few in London the same, but I used to go down to maybe Birmingham a lot because Birmingham were dealing with
Yeah, my town and all.
the metal. They was dealing in copper,
Yeah,
copper,
car business is just
not
taken
copper,
off.
gold, silver, diamonds.
Yeah.
When I went there and I give it to the guy, I said, right, you've got 10 days. They give me 14 days, I'm giving you 10 days. They don't know, he doesn't know they give me 14 days.
Yeah.
So you've got 10 days to pay it, right? So after the 10 days I go down and said, look, you know, is it short sweet got the money for me? No, we ain't got the money, mate. I said, what is that then? So we've got a few problems. I said, the problem, mate, let me tell you what it is. You fucking took that bastard off of me. You knew I'll give you 10 days to go. No, I promise. I'm telling you what I'm doing. Right? I'm going to give you one more day. We'll stay around Birmingham, and you've got to pay. If you don't pay, you're going to suffer the fucking consequences.
Yeah.
And I'm on about bad consequences. Yeah. This geezer, mate, was found nailed to the fucking floor. Nailed to the floor. Right? Nailed. 4-inch fucking nails through his hands. Didn't do nothing else. Didn't do his legs. Done his fucking hands. And Chris, he paid the money, mate. That's what I did.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't give a fuck about what this, that, and the other. Sorry swearing, but I didn't care, Chris.
Yeah.
I didn't care what I did because that was my job, an enforcer, and I was
it was your
and
livelihood.
I was good at what I do, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I learnt from Jimmy Tibbet. I learnt from him.
Worst thing I ever done, and I was going out with a girl, and she knew I had another girlfriend. I go around the house, and a guy comes out. He's got a knife in his hand, and he said to me, "Don't come back here," he said, "because this is waiting for you." I said, "I'm not arguing with you about your girlfriend. Let's leave it there." Anyway, bit of chat went on, but I went on a bit of business that takes care of somebody in Brighton. When I got back, my wife
Big thing,
said,
Brighton, wasn't it, mate?
"Yeah, good place." Come back to London. My wife said somebody had come to the door. 3 guys. One had a scar down his boat race, and they were, you know, looking for me. It's the same guy pulled a knife out. I thought, I ain't gonna have this. I went to my brother Jimmy's and got a shooter. I went down, because he always had a 38 there for me. I went down, I went to this place. I got out of the car, it'd be about 8 o'clock at night, and he came out of the house with a knife in his hand, and his mates around him. I fired one into him. I fired a couple at the other people. I fired another one into him. He went down on the floor. I've gone right up to him, and I put it up against his head.
What, you try to pull it, or did you pull it?
I tried to put it, but
Blank?
I've run out of bullets. Anyway, I got in the car, buggered off, got my wife, and we moved up to Liverpool.
How did you feel with that power here?
All
When you
I
had
was
that
thinking
thing, how
about-
did you feel?
All I was thinking about was someone grasping me.
Yeah.
I had to get away.
Well, I'll tell you what happened in one of my sentences, yeah. One of my sentences was a big sentence, yeah. Say, like, I think 20 odd years.
What did you get? Why did you get in? What was the?
All my ones are armed robbery, GBH, attempted murder and police officers, them sort of things. It's always violence against police officers and armed robberies, yeah. Albany's a good prison, but I met a lot of people in there. There was one guy in there called Tank. It doesn't really matter really, but Tank, and he played a lot of basketball. Big black guy,
Yeah.
massive, yeah. And one day we'd been called up to the hot plate. We don't do the hot plate. We're in the kitchen, yeah. But one day they called us up because there's a bit of trouble. We go to the hot plate. We got to serve out the food, but it's late, you know. Anyway, he comes in his tank late, so we've got loads of eggs left over, bacon, tomatoes, and all this sort of thing, yeah. So I said to Tank, "Oh mate, here's what you want, have what you want, right?" So there's 5 eggs there. So I'll give him 2 eggs. There's only 3 eggs there for us egg each for us, mate,
Yeah.
on the hot plate. So I turned round, he's done my fucking eggs. He's done the eggs. Prison's about food, Chris. You know what it's
Yeah,
like.
I do, yeah.
So I said, what are you doing? Put the eggs back. He went, no. I said, get in that fucking toilet. So as I put my tray down outside with all my food on it, he went to kick me in the face. Screws are there, but they let it go, Chris. I go in the toilet with him. I went, I want to fight this geezer, but I want to box him, right? I go in the toilet, bang, bang, picking him, and he's fucking come behind me, jumped me, pushed me down the stairs, and three of them got hold of me, and my tummy's been ripped open. He done me with a Stanley knife, held me down and ripped my tummy open with a Stanley, yeah? About 3 big cuts. So, I mean, it's only my power. I was nearly 19, 20 stone, powerlifting, massive, Chris. It's only that got me out of it. I got him off, yeah? And I banged up and I put this thing around I was in the kitchen. Anyway, forget about all that. But what happened, I knew that one of us is going to die. One of us is going to kill each other, without a shadow of a doubt, yeah? So I thought the best thing I can do here is do this fucking geezer before he does me, yeah? So I'm waiting for him by the door and C-ring. They had this square wood with an handle on it to stop the door running around, yeah? So as he's come through to the step, I went out across the fucking screws here. I don't give a fuck. I ain't gonna let him kill me, Chris, you know? This is my only opportunity I got, Chris, because I'm gonna get killed.
Yeah.
I've hit him with this thing and I split his head open and I've run. Now the screws are banging the whole fucking wing up, yeah? Now I know I'm fucking gonna get killed.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm in there for about, half an hour. I can hear all outside, all the rumbling, tumbling. What's going to go on here, mate? And they come in for the door and they shot me, Chris, with a fucking dart. Boom!
Yeah.
They done me, Chris, and I was on the floor. I'm aware, but I can't fucking move, Chris. All my muscles are gone.
Yeah.
And they fucking come in and they smashed me to pieces and they done me in the neck.
Yeah.
What? And I'm bark out. Next thing I know it's Parkhurst. It ain't Campbell, because Campbell was a sea cat, yeah?
That's right, yeah.
So they take me to Parkhurst and they said, right, this, what you just done, can be dealt with by the police outside or by the prison authorities. What we're going to do, we're going to sentence you ourselves, Mr. Hill. And they said to me, what's going to happen, Mr. Hill? You're going to go to a segregation unit in every prison in this fucking country. More or less what he said, yeah?
Yeah.
And you'll be there no more than 1 day, or no less than 1 day, no more than 28 days. Right? In the end, I wound up in Chelmsford Prison, yeah? Well, the best thing I went to, believe it or not, was Dartmoor, in the block.
Yeah.
And they looked after me in Dartmoor, because they all seen I was going to fucking die, Chris.
Yeah.
The same thing I asked Kray. What was your longest sentence? What was it for? Can you tell me a little bit about what was the prison like?
Was for the McVitie murder.
Yeah, McVitie murder, yeah.
And first of all, I mean...
You wasn't guilty though, Chris, was
No, no. I mean, what it wasn't a planned murder or anything else. I mean, people say, oh, he was taken down there to die. That was rubbish.
Where'd they take you? In the house, didn't it?
It was Blonde Carroll's house.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And we'd gone down there, and we go in thinking there's genuine a party. But when we go in, McVitie comes running in the room, where's the girls, where's the booze and all the rest of it?
Did he come in to have a go at the Krays?
No, he never. He came to a party.
Yeah.
And when we go down, there's two kids who've never ever met the Krays before, the Mills brothers. There's Tony and me and McVitie. I can't get my into my car outside the Regency because I'm blocked in. Anyway, we go over there and we go downstairs. We seen the twins earlier on that night. It was their mother's birthday and it was a nice evening and what have you. And we gone down there and anyway, Ronnie starts out, Reggie has a row with McVitie. The next thing I know is Reggie pulls a shooter out. I said, I never come down here for this. And I go to walk out and Ronnie Kray comes out, he says to Connie Whitehead, what's the matter with Chris? He said he didn't come down here for this. Anyway, he said to Connie, take him home, because I'd had quite a few drinks. They dropped me off home. I don't know what's gone on after that. And I'm sitting there with my dad, and I'm having a cup of coffee, and I think I better go and get my car, because I'll need it tomorrow. Anyway, I'll get a cab and go up the Reach about 1 o'clock in the morning. And get my car and I go round to...
You're a legend, Chris, you know, aren't you?
Pardon?
You're a legend, you know, aren't you?
No, I go round to Ronnie Bender's.
Yeah.
I go round to Evelyn Road,
Yeah.
knock on the door, and Ronnie Bender opens the door. I said, "Is Tony there?" He said, "No." He said, he's gone. I said, "All right, Ronnie, see you later, mate." I went to walk away. He said, "Chris, don't leave me." I said, "What do you mean?"
Oh, Ronnie Bendis is that?
Yeah. He said, "They've killed him." I said, "What, killed who?" He said, "They've killed McVitie." I went, no, not in front of all them people. You know you don't do things in front of other people.
Exactly.
You keep it quiet. So what happened was, he said, "Chris," he said, "help me." I said, "Where are they?" He said, "They've run away." And I went, "What?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "They've gone." So I said, "Who's with you?" He said, "Nobody."
So how did you all get nicked then?
So I turned around, I said, "Well, tell me this." I said, "What's your instructions?" "I've got to take him and throw him over a railway bridge, so a train will mash him up. And there's no evidence of murder or anything else like that." I go downstairs and there's a body there. And I'm thinking, well, the guy's been knocked out. He's going to wake up any minute. But he ain't. He's dead.
Did they stab him to death?
Yeah, well, Reggie did.
Yeah.
But it was Ronnie Hart, their cousin,
Ronnie Hart, yeah, I know Ronnie
who
Hart.
went and got the knife out of the kitchen and put it in Reggie's hand.
I thought it was Ronnie Bender.
No, it was Ronnie Hart who did
fuck
that.
me.
So Ronnie Hart, when he did that,
I always thought it was Ronnie Bender.
when Ronnie Bender,
Oh, okay.
it was Ronnie Hart.
Okay.
But Ronnie Hart put it on other people.
Okay.
So anyway, Ronnie Bender's down there.
Wow, man.
So I said, "Well, come with me, Ron."
Wow.
I went in the kitchen and I found some socks. I said, "Put them socks on your hands, as you do. You know,
Yeah, for
you ain't
sure,
got no
mate.
gloves."
For sure,
I
mate.
put socks on mine. I went upstairs. There was a bedroom there. I walked in the bedroom, and I've taken the nightgown off. But I've looked over in the corner, and there's two young babies fast asleep.
No, mate.
The twins were supposed to be looking after the kids while they had the party down there. Anyway, we go downstairs. We get McVitie's body on a what's her name, on the blanket or the eider-down.
I got him in.
And you got him there.
No, ain't no problem. I'd eat him, Chris.
Anyway, so
Today?
what happened then was, gone downstairs. Me and Ronnie have got McVitie up in the hallway. My brother Tony comes looking for me. Knocks on the door. He comes in. He gets involved. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I said, "Look, I've got a car. I'm going to follow up, and I'll follow it." And Tony said, "I'll do it." Anyway, I've always protected Tony. That's been Big Brother's.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
I like Tony, you know.
Yeah, he was a good.
He was
people
sweet, man.
liked
He
him,
was
yeah.
good, man. He was good.
And anyway, across the road is a bagel shop
Yeah.
where they're going in and getting bagels and cab drivers and stuff like that. So we've got to get a window where nobody's there. So we get that window, we get McVitie, try and get him in the boot of the car. You can't get a big man in the boot of the car. So put him in the back seat, Tony jumps in the driving seat. We follow up near Ronnie Bender with Tony. I've got a shooter down by the side of me. As we're driving along, a police car falls in behind my brother's car, or McVitie's car, which my brother's driving. No way am I going to let them stop him.
Standard.
You know, in and pull him in. He's got a body in the back of the car. He ain't got a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
I can't let that happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, I'm following the car and I'm thinking, please don't stop. If you stop, someone's going to get hurt. Thank God the police car turned off.
Yeah.
Now, if there's a tragedy, if there's a comedy
Was that
of
the same
errors,
time, was it?
there's
The
a
same time?
tragedy of errors.
Yeah.
So now policemen could have been hurt. You understand what I'm saying? Ronnie Bender's pulled into it. Because Ronnie Bender needs help, I'm pulled into it. Tony's pulled into it. We go down, we go through the Blackwood Tunnel, thinking that we'll put it over the other side of the water and it'll take it off the East End. You followed my line of thinking?
Yes, mate.
So we followed it through, but we lose Tony. And I'm driving round, I see Tony standing on a corner. He'd run out of petrol outside a church. There was all confetti out where there'd been a wedding and all that kind of thing. And I thought, well, if it broke down anywhere, it's appropriate to break down there. Because leaving the body there to be found in the morning and whatever happens. Little did we know that a short way away lived Freddie Foreman.
Did he get rid of the body, Freddie?
We dropped Ronnie Bender off in Commercial Road.
Yeah.
He went and saw Charlie Kray. Charlie Kray got in touch with Freddie Foreman,
Yeah.
asked him to do something, and the next thing you know,
It's on top.
everybody's involved.
Chris, so how much did you get for that? Well,
I got life with a recommendation of 15 years, and I didn't do that.
Yeah. Sure, it's true.
But I didn't help the police.
That's the truth, yeah. Yeah.
The police wanted me to help them.
How long did your brother get for that?
15 years. Got life in 15.
What, recommended 15
Yeah,
years?
recommended 15. And we did every day of 15 years.
what was the turning point? Why did you leave the life of crime behind?
Why we left the life of
Do you
crime
know what?
behind.
Yeah, what was the turning point?
Me, as an IPP.
Yeah.
Me,
Worst sentence in the
yeah,
world.
I've got the IPP.
Liberty.
Yeah, they give me 2.5 years IPP.
IPP, to explain it,
Yeah.
is they want to give you a sentence. It's the most unjust sentence there is. I know people who've done the IPP, they've come out mentally ill.
Chris, I come out fucking mentally ill.
Yeah, you
10
understand
years.
what I mean?
Give me
Angry,
2.5 years, I'm so fucking
pain
years.
and everything. But my turning point was different. I'll tell you what happened with me.
You ain't going to smash the place up, Chris, are you? Oh, yeah.
When I went away,
Wow.
it's broke and it has to break. I'll tell you for why. Because it broke me.
What is this?
That's my daughter. And that's me. I couldn't grasp on the Krays. I worked with people who would never inform on me. I'd done things that are wrong. And I've done them with them. And they finished up doing a prison sentence and they never dropped me in it. You know the kind of people I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened? I stand in the dock and I get 15 years. I've got a daughter that's only a baby, a little baby. That little girl made me change.
Yeah.
She was what I let down. And I wanted to be out there. I wanted to do something positive. You know, I couldn't change nothing. Now I'm doing 15 years and I go before the Royal Courts of Justice and I've got Mrs. Justice Lane telling me...
Justice Lane, yeah.
Yeah, she turned around and said to me, look, I can't let you have any contact with your daughter at all through the sentence you've got. I said, Mrs. Justice Lane, you did not make me a father. A greater hand than yours made me a father. And you can never take that right away from me. And she knew she
Did
was
that
getting-
change you, Chris?
Yeah, it changed me a great deal. And she turned around and said, I'm going to allow you one letter and one photograph a year. And I thought, what good is that to me? So my wife started writing me letters, but they were like shopping lists. The photograph wasn't something I wanted. I wanted something where I saw the sparkle in her eye and all that kind of thing. My daughter. And I said, that's what you're going to send me, I don't want it. You know, if you're finding a problem in writing to me or a photograph, don't do it. She never did it again. Yeah. I'd walked out on her and she came to get on a bus to come and see me and she said, no, I don't know what I'm going to get out
Did
after
that change you,
15
Chris?
years.
Did that change
Of
you?
course it bloody changes you.
Yeah, it changed it. No, after that,
You
nothing.
understand what I mean?
After that, nothing, yeah?
Nothing. But what I've got in my mind
Is
is
anger?
I'm going to get out. I've got anger, I've got pain, I've got rage. And one day I'm sitting in a cell and I'm marching up and down. Blood is running red and hot,
For sure.
cold as Isonex. I want a screw to walk through that door so I can kill him and I can justify being in bloody prison.
Away from your kids like that.
You understand what I mean? I've lost everything. It's all smashed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna destroy myself. It's what I've got to do.
You cut yourself, mate, yeah? It's all the time cuts.
You understand?
Yeah,
You want to know about
yeah,
pain?
cuts, yeah.
I'll tell you about bloody pain.
Yeah.
I felt it. It was unjust doing that amount of time. I picked a book up and it was the Bible.
Really?
And I looked at it, I thought, yeah, that's going to get me somewhere, and threw it aside. But then I began to think, I thought, people have climbed mountains they've fought wars.
For the
They've
Bible.
stood against all adversity, and they've stood on that book.
Really. That's so, Bob. Good boy.
And they made it. And I was going to make it too.
Yeah, man.
So I picked that book up, and I put it by my head, thinking the good thoughts would go into my head. Some positive to stop that rage, that violence I had in me. People want change. They're like me, a broken man. You understand what I'm
But
saying?
that's good that he did vote like
And
that.
they've got
Yeah,
children who they say they love.
Yeah.
But how much do they love them? Do they love them to give up drugs? Do they love them to give up crime? I'm involved with knife crime. What about youngsters running around with knives now? I'm telling you something, they've broke their family. They finish up, they might stab somebody, it might feel good you're on top for a minute, but it's only a minute. Do you have any regrets?
No,
I
not
do.
at all. No, because I wouldn't have done it. If I was going to regret it, I wouldn't have done it, Chris.
No, but
I regret
I'm
doing
thinking-
what I've done. I lost my mum, I lost my dad, I lost my brothers and sisters, really. My mum died, my dad died. I lost all that.
Yeah.
But regrets, as right at the very end of it all, of course you have, Chris,
Yeah.
you know, right at the very end, but not at that time, mate.
There was one bank who didn't give a toss for their customers. They were told if an armed robber comes in, don't matter if there's customers there, drop down behind the counter. They can't shoot through a bulletproof screen. What about the customers? Customers got to take their chances.